always starts off like that. Every time. Shooby. Overlays, having some trouble. Back up and going. Good evening. Welcome to the BNR Racing Network. As we head to Kansas here tonight. Maybe that'll help if I do this. Well, it's getting a little janky here with the boards. So good old Kansas. Mile and a half. Season 4, race number 9 here tonight. Kansas, as these boys qualify, they are closing in ever so slightly on their playoff run here. As you see here, Richard Johns is the fastest at this time. I'll go over a little race day information here. So as we see here, we're in Kansas City, mile and a half. Weather itself is 68 degrees, 48% humidity, partly cloudy, 2 mile per hour wind. 135 laps, which is 201 miles. 100% fuel. It's actually not 100% fuel, it's 80%. Like normal, I always fuck something up, and that's the normal way of doing it. But that's that quick fix one. You get 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. And last week's winner, Dave Barry, in the house. Could he win again? It is just quite possible, and we'll get all that figured out. But right as we said, Dave Barry jumped straight to the top of the board, which is awesome. And then, as Barry says,
fast as fuck, boy!
As normal. So the old Barry. So our timing tower is a little off. So that's alright. So 135 laps, 201 miles. And that's that. Non-playoff. What's that? Non-playoff banner. Oh, I gotta download that. Dang it, Phil. There you go. I got it. Shooby-dooby-doo. And everybody wants me to do it, so whenever we go, right before we go green, we'll go ahead and fire it up. And about, I need to get a drink too. So I'll go over the starting grid real fast. So P1 will be Dave Barry, P2 will be Richard Johns, P3 will be Jackson Lomax, P4 will be Matthew Hunsaker, P5 will be Josh Small, P6 will be Chris Schaefer, P7 will be Joe Stipe, P8 will be Brian Schwartz, P9 will be Chris Berger, P10 will be Mark Berry, P11 will be Michael Day, P12 will be Ernest King, P13 will be Robin Amaro, P14 will be Phillip, P15 will be Jacob Carter.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Shooby-dooby-doo. Come on, Kevin. Get this going here. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what I needed. So, let me. There we go. 135 laps. Oh, Barry's on top of the board. Qualified everybody. And everything's being so janky here today. That's alright. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab myself a drink real quick. as they pace. Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back, Brian.
Oh, well, you made it!
Yes, I've been here. Hopefully we can not do any more of the ridiculous soundboard stuff anymore. Hopefully we can throw that in the trash, leave it there.
We find out Barry takes the start. Great start by these guys as they head into turn number 1. Oh boy, we're gonna have radioactive. Oopsie.
What the fuck was that?
There we go. There it is.
Yep, that race is over.
Still got a quick repair, fellas. You can always fix that real quick so we don't hear nothing too rambunctious.
It's all good there.
That is right, I can. That is right, I can. Boom, just like that. Pow. Boom. There we go. All good. Anyway, lap 2 of 135 in the books. Richard Johns out front. Barry, Lomax, Small, Schaefer. Oh, you see Will that bobble there. Of course, got to get the non-playoff benders. Let me just put that text up. I'm going to take
unfortunately, no, I was just going to say, unfortunately, I don't see the bobble that you're speaking of because...
right here. Boom. There you go.
Thank you.
Which is right in that bottom seam there, around the turns, and then a slip up that happens. That's that bobble. And then you see that heavily finessing on that wheel. I forgot about that. Yes. So lap 5 of 135 in the books. I don't know what
everybody looks like at the moment bottom lane is the lane to go. Everybody arcing it wide, getting that turn into the corner in turn 1. Not too much the same in turn 3, but they are slightly different turn-in points. Turn-in how you would want to turn into these corners at both ends of the track. Just about how the track is shaped. All that other good jazz with Kansas.
You figure you want to be on the outside. At least not yet.
Yeah.
3 and 4, they're about there. They're about there. They're like straddling that middle to they're the high. Some of them are, at least.
I could see the high lane become a thing a little bit later on in the race. At the moment, nobody really doing anything with it. Looks like we got some action further back in the field, Brian. As Josh almost nipped the wall.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to transition back there a little bit, but yes, Josh did almost nick. Turn 2.
Turn 2.
See, now he ain't getting nowhere near that bottom. He just wants to stay right in that middle lane. Somewhat decent run off. As you see there, he's starting to gain some. Oh, I thought Schaefer got him. Somewhat of a oomph on that outside lane. Because Philip didn't qualify. Philip started in the back. Look for him to get up there towards the front.
Track position's kind of key for the most part at Kansas because it can be quite difficult to pass here as far as just being stuck in that dirty air. Clean air, very much so is an advantage as long as you can keep putting your marks and everything all right. But Josh and Schaefer in a good battle here, 4th and 5th.
Oh yeah, as they come side by side into turns 3 and 4. Could Josh clear him coming up? He will. And quite frankly, he did clear him. So you hear they're not really off the throttle a lot. It is maybe for a brief second and then back on it. So well, luckily fireworks. Awesome.
Good chance, possibility, like more than likely towards the end of the run, towards the end of the stints, you would see these competitors, these truckers, maybe having to lift entering the corners, but if they're not really having to lift now, it'll probably more than likely be towards the end of the run if they're having to lift.
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe about 25 laps, possibly. Because they're going to start getting tight, and like you said, all that dirty air, where I thought Josh almost hit the wall again, coming out of 2 there. Now he hits it at a full. You see Matt trying to take some air off the quarter of that 23. Enough to where he can get clear of him. But
just an intense dogfight for 4th position. The front 3 kind of broke away at this moment, but 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I do believe, all right here.
Oh yeah. I believe the lights did kick on a little bit.
Matthew Huntsaker gets by, and the one truck has congestion coming through the high lane in turn 2.
Yeah, Josh Paul and Schaefer, yeah, had a little thing together there on that outside lane. Really, just another rhythm track, I would say, to be honest with you.
No, most definitely. Because of how you have to dive into the corners, arc it, kind of not really turn right to turning into left, but you really want to try to get the straightest arc into the corner, then cut down into turn 1 like some of these drivers were doing early on in the race. Potentially same thing in turn 3, but you don't have to do it as severe, but man, the scrap for 5th place is just really intense right now.
As Matt pulls away, we got the 23, the 28, and 36. Adrian, I do believe ever so slightly. Dave Berry now starting to come in the mix there. So. See which numbers are 23. Schaefer. So 5, 6, 7. And now Barry's starting coming, so 8th. As Richard John still continues to lead this field. Dave Berry. But Dave Berry's right there with them, so as they still continue to hug the bottom lane. Eventually that bottom lane will not be there, but as you see a lot of them are attacking the outside lane a little bit early, not too much. Lomax getting of the 56, but he had to back off a little bit ever so slightly and let the 56 go by. As these three, now it's becoming, alright, so it'll be these three right here. Every now and then you'll start seeing Matthew close the gap in, where Matthew's a lot better in 3 and 4 than he is in 1 and 2. You see there, Richard's tires are now starting to fade a little bit, but that comes with running that bottom lane. But Dave Berry is going to get back to the bottom, try to get that run off, and carry that momentum going into turns 3 and 4.
Dave Berry just at the moment can't quite seem to get enough momentum to get past Richard, and just the entry he had last lap into turn 1 just wasn't proper. But he's on the inside of him now, coming out of turn 2 as they drag race down the back straightaway. Looks like Berry might have the lane on Richard. Richard's going way upstairs.
Oh yeah.
Just like you say, probably lost the tire, or also maybe the line that he was using.
That too, but you see there, he did a little scuffage to that quarter.
Yeah, just a kiss of the wall there on corner entry. That's probably going to happen to a lot of competitors this evening as they make that arc into the corner into turn 1. It
Uh-oh.
will slow that rhythm down just a tad, but
There is the first caution of the night. I do believe that was probably Barry. That was on Mark.
Mark was running in about 7th position at the time, but he was in that squaggle for 6th on back, 6th through 9th. So
So you see here going into the turn 22. Obviously he was running these guys down because these guys were beating the crap out of their tires.
Oh,
See there?
tad bit in that code, but I would say a bit of a racing incident at the same. Oh my goodness, Joe Stipe comes out of nowhere. This Mark was sitting sideways in the track and
Debris everywhere.
just hammered him. Yeah, they just had a good battle into the quarter, like we were saying. Mark had an exquisite line, I would have to say, for being side by side with somebody, and just unfortunately, was that Chris Schaefer or was that?
Oh yeah, the one that hooked in Chris Schaefer.
Okay, so. Coming off of turn 2 here can be rather tricky because of that wheel. It sometimes just wants to kind of snap a little bit to the right sometimes. So you want to already overcorrect for that, or not really overcorrect, but you want to correct for that by getting the wheel as back to center as quick as possible coming off the corners. And sometimes your wheel can just do some really janky maneuvering.
That is true.
And a little bit of netcode helps with making contact with another competitor, unfortunately. First caution out of the evening. Looks like we might have had some truckers stay out. I want to say guesstimation on fuel from the last time we were at 1.5 miles. These truckers probably going to get 30 to 35 laps or so. So
I do believe you are correct.
Maybe 35, maybe 38, somewhere in that ballpark. So especially, over 25 laps on the first set of tires. If I could get a caution around this time, which, if we're a driver in this scenario, we did, come down, take those old set of tires off, get readjusted here. Everybody's caught back up.
Let's see if we can talk to Dave real quick. To see what goes through his old head. Where are we? Here. Barry. Mr. Barry.
How goes it?
Well, it goes okay. Well, you're up front there. You seem to have a long run car. As we saw there, quite a few laps into it, 20-something laps into it, which is starting to fade, and you were starting to progress on through with the speed that you have. Tell the fans that are watching back home how that truck is handling, and then how it's gonna do, like later in the run, that you think possibly under the lights.
Well, as long as I don't burn the right front up, I'll be okay. The truck's running fine. It feels good. The handling looks good. It's just the right darkness, so the track is cooling down and giving us more traction. So everything's running pretty good, and I'm just trying to keep it inside the top 5 here, and if I can stay towards the front all night, that's what I'd like to do. So that's what we're looking for.
Yes, sir. Well, you got anything for him?
Well, just good luck there, David, and hopefully we'll be talking to you later, Dave.
Thank you, sir. Hope to see you all or catch you later.
Yes, sir. Boom. There we go. So as they get ready to come back to take the green with 30, coming to lap 30 of 135, and Barry takes it green right here. Holler it out. There you go. Caught the 96 sleeping a little bit, I would say. As you have Matthew Huntsaker looking to take that spot. Philip Bridgman now got himself back up here in the mix. P7. As Mark Berry, as it is, looking to come back and let them know, hey, I'm back again. So.
Yeah, Mark was showing some really good pace before that contact. Before that net code was induced. Whenever it's net code, it's so hard to call because, you know, it is basically the sim or the game trying to have this collision prevision protocol thing built in, but sometimes it gets it just a tad bit wrong. It's like a predictive collisioning or some type of coding, you know, within the game, and that's why it's called netcode to everybody. But in a way, it's just ping to ping. In a way, how good your connection can be to somebody when you're racing next to them. In a way, I guess you could say, just like, you know, how many people could connect in an old lobby back on the 360 days, basically, and even back as even more so like the heat days. Some people could only do races with 20 people in the lobby without lagging, or 16, and others couldn't even handle 8. So all really depends on how good of a connection you have, and oh my goodness, everybody back here fighting and struggling and just clawing, digging, trying to get everything they can, Brian.
Oh yeah. Well, as you see here, Will, Barry and Joe, they're trying to get that outside the work. Not too sure if they can. 94 slides up a little bit, throws that 9 off pace there to get him to readjust his lane. And they'll try to go for it again.
Not trying to call anybody old, but for like the driving awareness at times that Joe Stipe has, as far as like lifting out of the throttle for a competitor, like what he sees at times around him to avoid a crash. He may be in a lot of crashes at times, or gets banged up from time to time, but you know, not to say that he does not have the good situational awareness that we just saw, you know, Brian, to, hey, you know, whoa, that guy on the bottom's going to go up into the 9. I need to check up for that. Like, that is that type of situational awareness you need if you're going to be any type of, you know, sim amateur racing driver, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Johns kind of stalking Dave Barry out in the lead. Lomax there, not letting them slip away. Jacob Carter now moved up the field in that Love's rest stops truck. So, you know, they have all sorts of different. They're basically a subsidiary of a Pilot, like Love's and Pilot. They're the same company, I do believe, or they're both owned by the same corporation, is what I'm trying to say, I believe.
I do believe so. Sounds about right. Like I said, you know a lot more about a lot of things than I do. I really don't know too much about certain things. but I've seen a lot of them
It's
around.
just over here. He says, I'm a simple man.
That's right. I
I
really
may not know
don't.
a lot about nothing.
Yeah, that's why I leave it.
Brian,
Some
you're
things
your
I
own
do.
worst scum. I'll tell you what.
It becomes somewhat some sports.
I mean that in a loving way now.
Oh yeah. Oh, here we go. Jacob Carter creeping on the other side.
Yep, everybody's caught everybody. We're going to do a Kansas Midwest two-step here. And, oh, goodness gracious, we're awful close for my comfort. That's just, whoa. But, hey, that's how you got to arc it in there, side by side. Excellent sportsmanship racing here. Richard Johns goes downstairs, get a if of a slide draft. Just a, hey, give me a sniff of side draft down the back straightaway as they were coming onto it at a 2. Now at a 4, Richard's going to try to attempt to do the same thing at the stripe. Oh! And that battle back there for third and fourth, man, that's great too. Lomax and Carter on the high side, Lomax down low. But this is allowing Bridgman and Hunsaker in the 1 and 2 machines. Always have to check what number Phillip is.
Yeah, because Phillip's in a lot of different numbers.
Yeah, he can really fool you sometimes, but
It's like on Thursday, he's going to be in the 7. So, 7. I think they had the Talladega.
yes.
They do. That they will.
Oh goodness.
It's about to be good up here in the front.
Oh. Not sure if there was contact or just close racing there between Berger and Bridgman. Coming out of turn 4 back there, but
there's an ever so slightly small guy coming up too into that mix too as well. But he's finessing around the outside. And I think the outside lane is going to start coming in sooner or later to where now they ain't got much grip on the bottom. Now let's try to go to the outside lane. And Josh is taking advantage of that outside lane every lap.
We've had a few drivers just up there riding up against the wall this stint. Jacob Carter and a few others in the back, but as we can see, just at the moment, Richard Johns lost his momentum against Barry, so that fight will go to the wayside. He's going to lose a couple of positions here. So Lomax, Carter going to get by. Hunsaker's going to get by. I hold the Mario. So Richard up here racing Dave pretty hard and aggressive this stint, and could have really burned his tires up really early here. Unlike that last run, he was kind of really, I was going to say, being kind of conservative that run. The first stint of the race, the second stint is not being too kind to Richard there. Like I said, don't know if it was the hard charging in the opening laps of this stint, because
it could have been, or unless that bottom lane just lost its fucking yet again. Everybody's attacking that bottom lane. Everybody else was, so maybe I'm gonna have to go with you're saying. Hard charging early, attacking Dave Barry side by side. Applied some wear to the left or right side for those quite a few laps.
Yeah, because he's just dropping like a rock now to a raging river.
3 wide
Everybody's
back
just
in.
going around him, like you say, though, on the outside. So the outside could have a bit of an advantage now at the moment. We see more and more people running up it, so.
So you see Philip Brisbane there behind the 23. Oh, he blinked. That's unreal for Phil. There he is. He's back.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Phil.
This is a tight little wad back here, 7th on back.
Oh, yeah. That's a great battle, though. As you see there, Jacob Carter now goes to the lead.
6th on back. So I do believe 3rd different race leader, perhaps, I do believe.
Yes, Richard Berry, then Carter. Actually, 4th. That's what's lining up in the front.
Yes, my apologies. During the pit stops, under the caution, Brian stayed out, lead a lap, I'm assuming.
Yes. That's all right, I got you. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes.
What that was? Yeah, so as we see here, Will, Josh Small looking to get his name known up there to Schaefer. Those two see each other every week. They know how to finesse around each other a little bit here and there. Interested to see how Thursday's going to shake up. I like that. Green flag pit stops. Who can capitalize on them? Who can hard charge in and hit their mark, hitting their box the right way without sliding through, and then coming out and then taking the lead away.
Well, just not sliding through your pit box, but what about, speeding in the pit lane?
That too.
Either entering, exiting, or maybe like you speed up just ever so slightly while you're, just strolling down the pit lane. So, gotta be careful. Gotta be mistake-free. This is a very, very difficult pit road to venture onto because you're up on the banking, or, either way, you were coming from an average of about, 175, 165, 160.
Yes,
and you really gotta dart it down onto the flatness, really off-camber flatness of what you're venturing down to. And, 55, I believe, or 45 pit road speed, one of the two, so.
Oh, yeah. But as you see there, Will, Josh has now finally caught Richard Johns. Now we'll see how well that goes. I do believe that is that is Ernest King right there behind them in that 3 truck. So pit stop should be coming up here at the next handful of laps. So far so good. Spaced out, which is like Kansas normally is.
Yeah, except for this big old battle group back here from 6th on and back. So.
Battle for 6th. A lot's going to happen there, especially when we start taking these green flag pit stops, just like what you're about to see with the 23. As the 23 is the first one to bring them down the pit road. So, who can he reel in next time by, come down and pit. I guess we just have to wait and see. Or his strategy is going to be a lot different than others. But as we wait and see here, lap 57 coming to lap 58. Oh, you see Richard John up there in the wall well, ever so slightly a little bit. You see Lomax now going to the pits. So Lomax is in the pits there. A lot of these guys are going to try to do it and a stop or two less than the others, but
man, you're going to have some that's going to pit maybe 5 or 10 laps. Hard to believe, but a good maybe 8 laps at least sooner than some others. Those others going to be able to stay out maybe 8, 11, or so laps. Some people, when their tires get to a certain, hey, I just can't take it anymore, they just come on in at a certain, basically when your pit window could be open. So
oh yeah.
Others are really able to stick it out, control that tire wear, and do what you need to do.
Berger now making his pit stop. So I think every couple of laps you start seeing a couple of trucks start dropping down into the pits. They're going to figure out where they safely out fake who? You see there, Richard's struggling. He wants to pit, so he's going to drop. No, he ain't. He ain't going to do that time. I don't know if he was. I see Hunsaker, Philip Bridgman now make their pit stop. So like I said, every lap you're going to start seeing a couple of trucks come down and come down. So we'll see who's got the right pit strategy and who doesn't. But Will Carter's got himself a 1.1 second lead over Barry. So if I'm Barry, I'm going to try to outdo Jacob. So
he's got a decent cushion. Could Barry just be riding, cruising at the moment? In my opinion, the top 4 that we had before this pit cycle, they all 4, well, I guess 5, if we count in Richard, at the time, at the job of the green flag, everybody was kind of racy, and they were racy for about a good 11 laps or so. Then they all started to, in a way, get strung out. But good pace by Carter. He just has a good buffer, I would say. Not trying, I wouldn't say to extend it too heartedly.
Ooh, Carter might have slid past his pit box well with a 16.2 second pit stop.
Oh.
Instead of a 14 second, so that could probably hurt him, maybe.
Yeah, if you can do everything good, you can get a 14.9, 14.8 we have seen in the past with these trucks if you can do it right. We just saw Philip Bridgman, I do believe, with a 15.1, so I believe that's about ballpark range for these trucks if you can do it right.
So we have our 5th lead change here, Will. Josh Small now cycles out to be the leader as Dave Barry comes into pit. Question is, when will Josh Small pit? Is he going to stay out for quite a few more laps, or is he going to come in this time by? So I see here Josh is pit.
There he is.
And here we're about to get a 6th lead change there as Barry goes to the front. The other one, I would say.
Right.
So as Barry laps his brother, and now lets Carter get on by here. I think Barry's going to pick this time. Josh Small with a 15.2 second pit stop. So that is good job on his part. But now he's got to get out going so he doesn't go a lap down to Matthew. And now Matthew took the lead, so now that'll be the 7th lead change. So Josh Small gets to stay on the lead lap. He just timed his very well. And he's got about just 5-6 lap fresher tires than these guys. So we'll have to see how things shake up. So in 2 laps, we'll go to our little cutaways. So give you guys that wonderful crank it up portion of the night here.
I wonder if Huntsaker just took, right sides, or what was the pit strategy? I think he actually short pitted, so he gained a lot of time short pitting.
He did.
Trying to pull an undercut, but
I don't think
not sustainable enough.
Yep. But yet again, so
Short
Carter
pitting can only do so much in trying to catch down having those fresh tires. They're only going to be so fresh for so long.
Well, in this series, though, they do have unlimited sets of tires. So I would just keep getting freshies every time. You're not going to... But if you're going to look to pull the strategy, at least maybe with 5 to go or 10 to go, 2 tires would be the call because then you get that advantage. But yet again, you better hope second place didn't take 4, because if you take the 2, the 4 is going to be 2 in a day. So, unfortunately for Matthew, he might have took 2 tires and now that's going to hurt him. So, with unlimited sets of tires, myself, I would take 4 every time.
I think it could have just been working. Oh, Berger and Lomax teammate on teammate crime, but maybe Huntsaker just had a real good short pit, like a good. But yes.
But Huntsaker's still keeping it close to Carter, so Carter's not breaking away with those 4 tires. So the 2 tire strategy, if Matthew did take it, is still hanging in pretty good. So these two have at least a little bit over 2.5 second lead over third. So see how this shakes out. But anyway, we're going to go to our little cutaway portion here and give you the awesome sound of these truckers. So, enjoy. As we come back, Will, as you see here, Matthew now faded to third, about almost 3 1/4 back from Carter.
Yes, Brian Swartz in 12th place in the 94, in danger of going a lap down.
Oh yeah.
But Carter, I think, might have actually, Barry in the 56 could have had a slower pit stop than Carter, because somehow Carter gained a little bit on him, it seems, because we know he had just over a second lead before the pit stops occurred that ran the green flag pit stop, so now he's got just over 2 seconds. So even having a kind of a slow pit stop, a terrible pit stop, a second, slower stop didn't really hinder extending a lead.
So the two teammates will got a lap down. Brian Schwartz and Ernie King.
Yep. 3 M94 machines just at the moment not having a good run this evening at Kansas for some reason. Either just could have had a mistake in the pits, sped in to the pits. Something could have occurred to get them way back here, but also could just be having a bad day at Kansas.
That could be too, because sometimes Kansas can be a little rough for some drivers if they don't run enough laps here. So, as you see there, Josh gonna try to take advantage of that draft. Try to get him past the 3 of Hermes King. Just like that, he does get clear of the 3. Now looking to set his eyes on the 51 in that B5 of Richard Johns.
Dave Barry slowly inching ever so further closer to Jacob Carter in the first place. So that gap has came down quite a bit in just under a couple of laps here. Seems like Jacob, good possibility, conserving his stuff, maybe holding back, saving a lot, in a way, letting Barry get to him in a sense, but
that could be. But as you know, Dave Barry can be very consistent. He knows how to protect his truck. As you said, he's been trying to protect the right rear. So I think you see there Matthew Hunt safe here now, pitting as his scheduled stop.
And Barry's coming back at Carter.
He's trying to get that pull, but can't quite get it enough. So he'll try to get it through the turns and get the run off from the outside to get him even more closer to Jacob. But I don't quite think Barry can get the pull that he needs. So he's going to try to do it his way. As you see here, we got quite a few pit takers now coming down the pits as their scheduled stop. So So I'm not sure if Barry stalls a little bit in 1, but he gains it all back in 3 and 4. Somewhat. But I'm gonna probably have to go with. I do believe Jake's playing mind games, so which is always good. There is nothing wrong with that. Like, all right, he knows. All right, now stay here. All right, now let me put it in high gear for a little bit, and see what I can do. So now Carter got a half a second over Barry. That's crazy.
Yeah, when he had that just over 2.5 second lead, I don't see any right side damage on that truck, so just maybe just backed off a lot, because he did have a pretty good lead. Good possibility, I guess, though, that Barry just raining back down.
Dan Dayberry's known to do that, as you see. Past couple of races, he was very good with that. You see there, Berger now making his schedule pit. I want to say close to 100 laps. Close to that lap 100 mark is when you probably see Josh and Mark Berry pull in. So I see you got Carter, Berry, Richard John. So Josh Small moves up to P4. Richard John moves up to P3. So how much longer is it before Carter comes down? And then Barry can go out another lap to try to put Carter a lap down, but can't tell. But they do have 16 seconds over third, so, and just about 16 and a half over fourth. So. Oh, actually, Phillip went a lap down. That's because he's 2 laps down now. Oof. Wonder if he had a slip up in the pits.
Just think it's where everybody was running at this time pit stop. It's at this time in the race during this pit cycle.
That is true. That is very true. Yep. Like I said,
even at a mile and a half, if you're running 20 or some odd seconds further back from the leader you pit, you are probably going to go 2 laps down.
Oh yeah.
Good possibility. It just all depends on where you are.
So you see the difference in the fall off here on old tires to new. So you can tell who's on the new tires and who's on the old tires. So
yeah, when they by you like you're almost sitting still, it looks like ever take a video or like a picture of like a chopper flying through the air. It almost looks like it's going in reverse, or like if you see it. Anyway, yeah, man, the difference with newer tire, just that speed you can carry for a good handful of laps, and then oh my goodness, the plateau at the end.
So as you saw a little bit ago, Will, Barry was to the back of that 22 machine, but couldn't get nowhere with it because there was unfortunately a lap car in front of them at the time. So now Jacob is going to pull again to a half a second over Barry So oh, Barry's in the wall. And when you get high into the wall like that, that will do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of loss of momentum. Comes up the cost of being in the dirty air, the person in front of you, and just running in that high lane.
Well, so they are slowly, but ever so slightly closing in on that 35 laps to go mark, so which is always a good thing. And taking the laps down and putting on a great show.
Yep.
So Richard Johnson's going to pit this time along with Carter, so that will move Josh Small to P2, and then eventually cycle out to be the leader.
Almost one caution.
One caution, yes, sir.
One caution so far this night. Left 24, 25, somewhere around there.
Yes. So, boy, this thing's getting ahead of itself. Trying to tell me that. Oh, there you go. Maybe they are. Yeah. All right. Never mind. There you go. That's what I was waiting for. So both Dayberry and Josh Small didn't pit that time. So Josh did not stay out like I thought he was. So that threw me for a loop. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. And just like I said, around lap 100, you'll start to see them come down, and then they should have enough to make it to the end. So.
I am more than likely, yes. Estimated fuel or guesstimated fuel this evening, 38, 42 laps, somewhere around there, so like I said, trying to remember back to last time we were at a mile and a half in the Truck Series, because came in late. When you come in late, just don't get to talk to nobody basically 2 minutes before you come on air, so saddening. So
yeah, and then that leaves us with the old guessing game.
but that's okay. That's why we stick it out and watch it and see how it unfolds, and sometimes it's better to just go in see how it goes.
Well, next week on Tuesday, these guys head to Darlington. Unfortunately, we're not going to be there for that, so that's very heartbreaking, because Darlington can sometimes be a throwback weekend for the trucks. So it was just a bad timing of everything to fall on, and
well, we've also seen some really great racing, been provided by these BNR competitors in the past at Darlington. So.
Yes, but we will get to have them in Xfinity when they go there, so that's always a good thing too. So at least we'll get to do the Xfinity side of things. But just unfortunately not for the trucks. The trucks do put on a better show, because everybody says they do handle a lot more better now since they've updated the tire model. So everybody's been liking the Truck Series a lot more. Truck and Cup, they said. Xfinity, there's still quite some workage that they have to do to them. But I think give iRacing some time, they'll eventually get the proper adjustments down to the Xfinity car that they'll need. So hopefully this next big update and next month they'll get that down. So time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see. But right here, closing in on 30 laps to go. Hunt Saker to the lead. Carter, P2. Dave Berry, P3. Berger, P4. Philip Ridley, P5. Here's your top 5. But you see there, so slightly Carter's running down Matthew. I think Matthew's strategy is a little bit off by quite a few laps, where Carter has more tire preservative over Matt. It's just ironic how much tires mean a difference. But yet again, Matthew was also dealing with quite a few lap traffic there, but the only one he's got now in front of him is V9 of Mark Berry. So
yeah, like you were talking about earlier, you know, the difference with fresh tire compared to older tire, drastically, insanely different. You know, you're running about almost 2 seconds faster with a fresh set of tire than you are, you know, running around with 30, you know, say 25, 30, 35 lap old tires, you know. So anytime you can get, you know, just a good advantage that hopefully, you know, the undercut could work. It could at least get you a good finish. And, you know, if you're just trying to get a good finish, that's all you need for a good points day, to be honest. So, as we can see here, I put up the previous lap. So these are all what the drivers are running lap to lap. So you can already tell it's pretty much a half a second to about 0.8 of a second from Hunsaker to Carter. The fire fall off. The tire fall off, and lap time goes. So that's pretty crucial. Even though when Hunsaker pitted, he had that advantage. That's what got him way out here. So
they are coming to 25 to go as they cross the line here.
Only question is Barry able to do anything run down Carter? Last time it looked like he had about 4 seconds over Barry. Carter did. Now he's, I'm not going to say behind a slower truck, but just behind a Hunsaker tires. So not sure if that's like helping Carter on the lap times. It's hurting Carter. So Carter needs to try to find a way by Matthew sometime in the near future if he wants to stay ahead of Dave Berry. Dave Berry, if you look at the lap times, that lap, or the previous laps, oh, there we go. Jacob Carter coming through 3 and 4. Oh, Matthew's actually coming into the pits, so must have been a bit short with the short pit calculation. He's not able to go 22, apparently. Yes, that works too. He needed just another splash. Kind of like what you were talking about earlier, you know, some drivers might have to dip to the pits later on towards the ending of this race.
Oh, he's got a 7-second stop. Oh, there's another Berry that dived down. Oh, sorry, Berger, not Berry. Interesting. So see there, Philip ridden behind the 9. As this little battle here. And Philip 1 lap down, so that is not for position. So as we're on board here with the 9 of Mark.
Like Phillips just trying to walk out of here with a top 10 finish. Puzzling why he didn't qualify. Normally Phillips qualifies.
He was making a new banner. He wanted to make a new banner. So he says, "Hey, I made you a new banner." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." So that's probably why he didn't qualify. He's messing a little bit with the banner. So 19 laps to go here in the BNR Truck Series at Kansas for the Kansas 201. You see there, Josh Small. Just running laps. Ain't worried about a thing. But if he wants to run down Richard, he's gonna have to get there and take that P3 away. Which, by the way, is one of my teammates on the Cup side of things. So always good to see him running well. I like to see all my teammates running well. Josh, Bradford. Every now and then we'll get a Selner in there, so see the 23 gets back one of his laps after being 2 laps out. Carter must be backing her down, saving, because now Daveberry now dropped some gap space a little bit. But now Carter's gonna try to pull on him again with the draft from Robert Amaral.
Could just be that part of the run where Barry just gets back to him, but just gets kind of stalled out in the dirty air type of situation.
Oh yeah.
So, not sure if that's what's happening again. Maybe Carter's saving something, just trying to conserve the tires a little bit better. Maybe he didn't take just enough fuel to make it, and that's what he's trying to, some drivers will do that, take just what they need.
Well, they did add a new feature, Will, into the iRacing platform. So what it is it's called auto fuel. Sometimes when you do that auto fuel, sometimes it can be off. So maybe a lot of these guys were messing with their auto fuel button, probably didn't have the right amount set. Because normally your crew chief will do it for you. So if they ain't got a crew chief like the actual spotter, your spotter will do it too. We'll go ahead and change your, because they'll tell you, hey, your tires are getting low, so, and then they'll just magically switch over and be like, okay, well now I'm your crew chief, so there you go. They'll be able to adjust their auto fuel and give them just about enough fuel to get to the end. but sometimes it can be off. So I always like to put a margin between like quite a few over, so that at least it gives me like 2 to 3 laps more of fuel in the margin. So. Slowly run them down. The car ain't got enough fuel, maybe. I don't know, it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I just good possibility. Right, Barry just could have that long run capability this evening. But then it gets to a point in the run, it just kind of it just equalizes. Like he can run him down point, and then it's okay. We'll just kind of self out,
Oh yeah.
But these two certainly everybody else, out, 14, 16 seconds on back. So. What is it, 10 laps to go, 9 laps to go now, so.
9 laps to go here. Josh ever so slightly closing that gap in on Johns, but now Richard Johns is now pulling more and more on Josh, so can Josh capitalize here in the next 9 laps? We'll have to figure out if Josh can get to Richard, but I just don't think that's going to happen. So.
I mean, I don't know to him. Not out of the realm of possibility, but 2 1/4 seconds he's got to make up to get to Richard for that final step on the podium. But that could one to watch. Very closing final step of this race. 7 laps to go. I believe 6 this time. Like I said, that point in the run for the top 2 competitors where it just gets to a point and it kind of evens out, or Carter opens it back up. That has happened yet again. As they're now dropping 3 1/4 second lead back to Carter.
Oh yeah. As you run aboard here with Josh, we're going to watch ever so slightly if Josh can run down Richard, but Josh does get his run off the top. You hear that little crack of the gas, get back in it, try to keep it off the wall. So he's gaining a little bit more speed than Richard with being on the outside. So
but it's 5 laps to go, enough to do anything, or is it 4? It's 4, isn't it?
It's 4 now, yeah.
Yeah.
I would start bringing it down in the apron, getting that run, moving it back up towards the wall, and then continue to run the line that he's running. Because as we watch here, Richard's starting to fade on that bottom. So Josh is carrying more speed on the outside. As you watch on board with him, he can carry a little bit more speed on the bottom, but Josh is hit to run off. Let's see here, Josh called Richard, but the problem is Richard gonna pull a hard block to keep Josh back from him? And could that bring out the yellow? Because do you see right now the leader just crossed the line with 2 to go. So if they're gonna do anything, they gotta let it happen this time. Now if I'm Josh, I'm following Richard. I'm gonna continue to run my line. As we see here. He gets the run off, which is perfect. As Carter and them take the white flag. Just like that, that's what I was talking about. Richard threw him off. Jacob will cross the lead as the winner. Just like that, okay. So Josh is going to finish P4. Oh, he ran out of fuel. So great race by Jacob. Good race by everybody.
Yes, big congratulations to Jacob, Carter, and the podium finishers. And everybody else, like he said, that was able to finish the race, stick it out, and persevere. Brian, I've got to jump out early, so
You're good.
I'll catch up with you in a bit.
All right,
and
sir.
everybody have a good night. Thanks for showing up.
Is there... So, we'll talk to P3 first. Well, here you are again. 2 weeks in a row.
I know.
It's very good. Well, Kansas is very good, that's for sure. Kansas has always been very well to you.
It has.
Yes. And you were running up front majority of the night. But strategy almost played out in your favor. Unfortunately, you just couldn't quite capitalize to Dayberry and Mr. Carter, but that is normal. We know that. So, anyway, sir, congratulations on the P3. You held Josh off. Josh, we were on board with Josh for those last 9 laps, and we're like, well, if anything, Richard's got to throw Josh off and do whatever he can to keep Josh back, and he did that coming with 2 to go. So, in that term, congrats on the P3. Why don't you give a thorough walkthrough of how the truck handled throughout the whole race from might as well say from late evening to nighttime transition to about midway through green flag pit stops and just the overall racing in general tonight.
First of all, it was a great race. Started P2, led a few laps there in the beginning. The truck was actually a lot better the later it went. It started off a little loose, and then it built tight, and then it just, the longer you ran on the tires, the tighter it got. With those long green flag runs that we got with the green flag stops was awesome. Lap traffic wasn't too much of an issue. It was just a matter of trying to play your strategy out. Some people went in early, some people went in as late as they could, but new tires meant so much that you could make up a lot of time in some spots with getting the new rubber.
Yes, sir, I agree with you on that one a lot because as we saw, Matthew was trying to short pit everybody and just didn't quite have enough to get to the end. And Carter did run out of fuel on the last lap, so he was very.
So did I. I ran out coming off of turn 2.
That's right.
After the checkered flew, so it was really close on fuel. We were all trying to save, and I had the conversation with Josh while he was running me down. I said, "You better look at your fuel," and he's like, "Says I got enough." I said, "Yeah, well, run that outside. You're gonna have a hard time." And then when coming to the white, I had to throw some air on his truck, and it made him tight, and he just lost the steering. I hate it for him to get in the wall like that, but it was some fun racing.
Oh yeah, next week y'all head to Darlington. Unfortunately, I am not here for that. I'll be up in Jersey. So, well, what's going to be your mindset going into Darlington?
Darlington, honestly, has not been that great of a track for me. It was great in officials. I ran like 2 or 3 races there and was in the top 10. So if I could walk away with as maximum points as I can get, that'd be great.
Exactly,
I'm not a big fan of Darlington.
I ain't either, so that's that. I don't know. I just never liked Darlington. But anyway, sir, congratulations, P3. Any shout outs or loves you want to give?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend, who's been watching for the last couple of weeks. Give shout out to all these guys that showed up tonight, and you for broadcasting, and just roll it on in the next week, and next 2 weeks is gonna be fun. Darlington and North Wilkesboro, so should be entertaining.
Be back for the Wilkesboro, so well, awesome job, P3. Get you back up there and chit chat with you.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Last but not least, one of my favorites, Dave Berry. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Well, once again, from P1 to P2, so I would take podiums all day, every day, great points. I'm sure you got quite a few bonus points and some, so that always helps out too. Anyway, sir, congratulations on the P2. I know we talked, a little bit earlier. We were discussing what was going to be your strategy from here on out to try to hold back Carter, and I do believe you should protect that right side. But anyway, explain to the fellow colleagues who are watching back home, and maybe give some pointers to those who are watching that were driving tonight, how the overall transitioning was from late evening to nighttime, and the best way to protect the rear tires on a track in certain circumstances, like transitioning races and getting through the lap cars. I know a lot of the lap cars were awesome tonight. They got out the way for you guys, which is always wonderful to have one over here, and all that other great stuff.
Yeah, the racing throughout was just amazing. Early, it was a lot of racing with Richard, and we had a couple of great runs there, and then he dropped back. I'm assuming just to save tires, and then Jacob came out of nowhere on the high side, and I never even gave the high side a look, and until he blew my doors, and I had to get up there and start learning the lines. So. With old tires, the high side was definitely the way to go. About 5 to 8 laps low is about all you wanted to run before it would start just wearing out the tires and slow you down. So, he found a great line, and I just wish that I would have found that a lot sooner.
right? Well, it's like I was talking with Will earlier. I'm like, that outside lane is eventually going to come in handy. And I did notice about midway through or about halfway through, everybody started shimmying to the outside like, oh, wow, I found some speed out there. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, is Dave Barry or Carter or Richard going to eventually jump up to the outside lane? And I just kept watching every lap. I'm like, all right, well, they ain't going to go this time. Ain't going to go that time. Aha, now they finally went out there. Then like, oh, okay, now they found that rhythm. But, yes, the outside lane tend to come and play. It gives you a little bit more closer and tight racing between you and Carter. Next week is Darlington. Unfortunately, I am not going to be here for that. Like I was talking with Will earlier. One of the races that we didn't want to miss because sometimes the BNR drivers throw in retro paint schemes on the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. So, unfortunately, we will not be here next week. But what's going to be your strategy going into Darlington?
Well, Darlington is one of my favorite tracks. So it just charge the corners, but charge them good enough to where you're not burning up the right front. Turn 3 and 4, you just gotta. If you hit that right, 1 and 2 just comes to you really, really kind of easy. So the transition on the banking just sets the truck up real good. So it's another track that we can really run hard at. There's going to be some good passing. I'm just hoping that, just like this week, I can stay up front and stay out of trouble, get a zero incident, maybe possibly try for another pole. That would be nice. But, yeah, it's going to be a fun track.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. Well, sir, best of luck to you going into Darlington. I wish you the best of luck. I hate to miss it, but unfortunately, we got to handle some things, and that does happen in life. So, any shout outs or anything you want to give?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Jacob on a great win. I enjoyed racing with everybody tonight. BNR racing the BNR Motorsports in general is just so fun to be around all the guys, and doesn't matter if we're in the Truck Series, Xfinity. Everybody has just been really good to race around, and just a bunch of crazy guys getting together. It's what it's about. So, congratulations to Jacob again. I'd like to thank you, Brian and Will, with the broadcast and everything that you guys do every week. And hopefully, I'll get to do some kind of an interview with you guys in the future.
Yes, sir. Maybe Thursday, because Thursday y'all head to Talladega, so maybe we'll see you back there again. So
that would be a win if I could actually get to do that. So, because I don't like those tracks, I am terrible at them.
It's very rough. It's just on who you can find friends at the end and how you protect all lanes, I guess. Well, I'm sure you and the brother will find a way to link up and pull some magic out. So,
but we've got a good team, so we'll try to get together and team it, and hopefully stay on the lead lap and then maybe charge at the end. So that'd be nice. But I want to give a shout out to Mark for a top 5 too. I think he got 5th, so another top 5.
Yes, sir, he did. All right, sir. We'll chit-chat in a few. Great talking to you, and we'll be looking forward to see you on Thursday.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Me too. Last but not least, Mr. Carter.
Hello.
So as Richard said, you did run out of fuel, so he said he heard the coming by the.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's funny because me and Will were like, well, we see Carter lifting, we don't think he's gonna have enough to get there, and we're like, okay, now Barry's closing in. Never mind, Carter's pulling back, so he must have saved enough to at least get to the checkered. Mm-hmm. After that, there probably is no burning it down for Mr. Alabama. So, anyway, congrats on the win. You did a freaking hell of a great job tonight. As normal, slicky track. Anyway, but as I ask everybody, give a thorough rundown because a lot of people's are different than others. That's why I like to ask the same question to everybody. So, give the thorough rundown of how your truck handled from the start of the race to the end, where it was kind of iffy. We did hear you say, well, there goes my fucking race. I forgot to turn it off. I was going to do radioactive, but unfortunately, we stopped it. I'm like, okay. I caught that part, so when you go back and watch, you might hear it. So, something might have happened early on with you, so obviously you can explain that too as well, because we didn't catch it. But from start to finish, how the truck handled, and what was the key point to hitting pit road and getting off of it, and then capitalizing the win at Kansas.
I can't believe y'all heard that. um, Truck at the first beginning, Robert and Ernest got into it. So when that happened, I was like, man, they got a draft. They're gonna pull away, whatever. So me and Phil was working our way through. I lost Phil about quarter of the way through the pack. And then I started moving on by myself since Phil couldn't keep up. Um, all in all, y'all say slick. It wasn't really too slick with me. Once I got on the high side with the tires being okay, it was fine. It gripped, went, did great. And that's kind of what Barry was like. He was like, dang. He was like, how the hell do you got so much momentum? I'm sitting there like, I don't know. I'm just running my race, and then everybody has to say something. Oh, got those tire at. So, all in all, truck felt great, and coming into 3, I looked down, and I had .2 of gas. I was like, oh no. So I'm not gonna make it, and I came around the corner, and I was .1 right at the start and finish, right at the Geico restart zone. It started putt-putting, so I pushed the clutch in, let it coast away all the way through. No, there goes my race part was I can't remember who said it. I think Ernest. Whenever Robert hit Ernest, he was like, "There goes my race." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I had to say, "I was like, there goes my race." So I had to say it. But all in all, great truck. It was running fast tonight, and I'm just glad I ain't in the wall but twice.
Yeah, y'all was straddling that wall quite a bit and came pretty close. That's for sure. But anyway, Darlington is next week. Unfortunately, I am not here. I got
Mm-hmm.
family things to deal with. So if you are here next week, but I know I'm not, what's going to be your strategy going into Darlington? So far, it's a lot of people are saying, well, the track doesn't like me, and it's a rhythm track, and you have to just drive the track. So
Yes. Honestly, with that track, you're gonna have to hit your points really, really smooth, or if you come out of the corner crooked, it's over for you. So with that being said, I'm gonna try my best to either keep the nose clean or just stay in the back and let everybody race because I've missed too many races anyways. I'm not competing for a championship. Right now, I'm just a Kyle Busch. I'm running whenever, it's valued to me. And sometimes I have time and sometimes I don't have time, so it just depends. But next week, I should be here. And we shall see how that goes when I get there.
yes, sir. Um, anyway, congrats on the win.
Appreciate it.
Yes. I'll see
Good
you
run.
Saturday. in the old, because I don't know if you're going to be here Thursday. Thursday, these boys head to Talladega, so I don't know if you're going to be here for that.
Yeah, I'll
Talladega's
give
always
my
Talladega's always
yeah,
a wonderful track.
I'll give my hometown a shot at it. I guess.
Oh,
I hope. Yeah, yeah. Oh God, I just hope people know what center pushing means and not quarter pushing. So we'll figure it out once we start to a great start.
yes, and then I will see you out on track Saturday at Martinsville. But
Ooh,
anyway,
fun.
yes, I can Martin it. I guess cut the fender off and be all right. But
That's right.
anyway, go ahead and give your love, your shout outs, and everything else, and we'll get you anyway.
I'm just still rocking this paint scheme. I don't know why I haven't changed it yet because I lost a couple times. Uh, Shout out to my kids. Shout out to you because you are actually alone in the booth today, huh?
No, I was in there with Will. Will had to step away, so but
Oh, okay.
to the end, it was just me. So
Yeah, but just thank y'all for coming out here, giving us a show. Thanks to my kids for aggravating me every time I'm trying to race.
it's probably
And
Aiden.
yeah, mm-hmm.
How about if
Daddy, what? You know, like can't you see I'm busy?
kids,
But
kids,
you
they
got
keep
gotta love
going.
them.
Yeah, but hell yes, sir. Great job. I'll get you back up there. We'll chit chat in a few, and best of luck to you on Thursday, because I'll be here for Thursday up here. Calling the shots. I know how you finesse around there, so it'll be great to see if my strats work out. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm about to make some people mad up in here because football season starting. Roll Tide.
uh, well, football season just ain't starting yet.
Not yet. We're about
My team plays
6
on
weeks
Thursday,
out.
so
Oh, really?
yeah, we got the Hall of Fame game this week.
Okay, we're about 6 weeks out for college or something like that. So,
Yeah, I'm a Michigan fan, so it don't matter.
you. Anyways.
Quiet. I'll talk to you later. Anyway, I would like to thank y'all for coming out here tonight on the BNR Racing Network. Give us a like, share, follow. YouTube and Twitch. We'll eventually get back on Twitch in the near future, but we still do use Twitch for certain things, so go ahead and give us a like and share over there. But also, I'd like to thank Will for coming out there. Unfortunately, he had to dip a little early, which is fine. He was here calling the shots at me throughout the whole night. So, I want to thank Will for coming out and myself to watching these BNR drivers. They do a hell of a freaking job every week. I cannot be thankful to have the group of guys that I have and that put up a fight week in, week out. They kick ass every week. I'll just say that. These guys do great. But from myself, from Will, from the BNR crew, from our BNR trucking on ATS, come on out, join the crew, come on out, convoy with us. We'll get you hooked up. Get with us on Discord, and we'll get you going with that. But for myself, from Will, from the BNR crew, to the admins, to the drivers, to race control, to us who make this happen for these guys, I thank you guys very much. But until then, we'll see you Thursday, and I'd like for you guys to have a safe and